What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about MicroStrategy today, MSTR. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. Michael Saylor, Justin's son's 34 years old, by the way, in case anybody wanted to know. MSTR news. Let's type this in real quick. Let's see how big of a headline it is. Nope. Seems like people aren't really worried about it at all. Oh, maybe here a little bit. Filing of a class action lawsuit against MicroStrategy Incorporated. Yes, they're filing a class action lawsuit against MicroStrategy for misappropriation of customer funds. I just talked about this in my Bitcoin video at the very end of the video, and I said that's like suing the Cookie Monster for not eating cookies, right? Like, we know this guy's got his hand in the cookie jar. We know that he is balls deep in the cookie jar. Okay, there is no way that if Michael Saylor has customer funds, your grandma's funds, your child's funds, your mother's funds, his mother's funds, there's no way that he's doing anything else with that money other than buying Bitcoin. Okay, so if anybody's worried about that news piece there, just don't worry about it. It's just a gotcha, grab you BS, right? I don't know. I don't even know, like, stuff like this should be illegal. Like, you shouldn't just be able to sue someone like this on baseless claims, right? And there should be repercussions, in my opinion, for something like this. This happens to a lot of people, a lot of successful people who run public companies. Stuff like this happens, right? And I don't know if it's just to stall. To stall the price in hopes that they can get in more before the price goes higher, or if it's some kind of cheap trick to try to hurt the price. I don't know what it is, but don't worry about it. It's definitely not a big deal. In case anybody doesn't understand what I'm saying, because I have a way with words, let me just tell you real quick. Michael Saylor, MicroStrategy, is being sued for misappropriation of customer funds, and that's laughable to say at the least. Okay, they're going to be found innocent. They're going to beat that with flying colors. They're going to beat it off with both hands. From a high to a low here, if we're looking at this, you have gone up to the golden ratio. Okay, you've retraced it from the golden ratio all the way back on March 10th here. You found your low. You had a little double bottom here, a nice Eve and Adam pattern, if you can see right there, right? A little Eve and Adam. It's beautiful. It's perfect. You're up at this golden ratio right now, finding support at the golden ratio after slowly just working your way up here. Now you're finding support on it, and you're getting good support, up 2% today. Bullish engulfing candle. I very much do believe that that's your low, or higher low, I should say. 390. Let's see, at the low you were at $389. That suffices. That does it, man. I think that we've seen the low, and we are going to continue to grow here. This week for Bitcoin, this week for crypto is going to be massive. I'm assuming that MSTR gets a piece of that for sure. You know what I'm looking for? I don't know how high Bitcoin's going to be by the end of this week, but I am looking for new all-time highs. We could be as much as up 15% for Bitcoin by the end of this week. And if that's true, I would assume MSTR is probably up something like double that, right? Like, if Bitcoin's up 10%, MicroStrategy's up 20%, right? Isn't that how it goes? Let's just see real quick. From April 8th to the current price now, you're up 73%. From April 7th to the current price now, you're up 40%. So not quite 2 to 1. Not quite, but pretty damn close. So if Bitcoin's up 15%, maybe MSTR is only up 20%, but something like that, yeah. 490, maybe not quite at $500, but right around there, right around that $500 mark, if not even just above it, by the end of this week. By the end of this week, yes, Friday. What day would that be? Friday's on the 23rd there. Yes, that day. And if it's not this week, then it'll be next week. Certainly by the end of the month, you will be up at this $500 area. You might even be at new all-time highs by the end of the month. And then pressing higher, right? That's just assuming the minimum, right? The base case is 121K. If Bitcoin goes to where I think it's going to go, which is 130 to 140K, there's no doubt in my mind MSTR is going to be at new all-time highs. If not by the end of the month, by the end of this week or next week, man. Like, it's gonna, which is essentially the end of the month anyways. But looking at this here, the next target for MSTR is $684, $919. I don't expect that this zone gives you too much troubles. I don't think that you're going to consolidate in here like you did here, right? I don't think it's going to be a long, drawn-out consolidation phase. I think it's just going to be a little bit of resistance here, a little bit of resistance there, and then you're going to continue to build and work your way higher, right? It's not going to be a straight line through, but essentially yes. You know what I mean? You're going to rip right on through there over the weeks, over the days, over the months to come, and you're going to see prices all the way up at $1,155 to $1,300. If not here, then somewhere between here and here. I don't believe MSTR is going to go all the way up to $100 or $1,600 or $1,700. It might. It has a chance. Just because I say I don't believe that it goes there doesn't mean that I don't think it can. It absolutely can. And if it happened, I would say if we went to $1,700 by the end of this move, I'd be a little bit surprised, but that is at the maximum that we're accepting as far as like a price area goes. So I wouldn't be too surprised. It's just that hits the maximum. That'd be impressive, right? What I would expect the most is that we actually do stop somewhere in between the 2272 and the 1 and the 200 here, which you'll never hear me say that, right? Because if you break above the 200, you're going up to the 2272. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. But for me, it makes a lot more sense that MSTR probably does stop somewhere around, I would think somewhere around 1300 to 1600 in between there, rather than going up above 1600, because I think MSTR will top off either before or after Bitcoin. Bitcoin's likely going to top off at 170 to 180K by the end of June, early July. That's my expectation. And if Bitcoin tops off at 180 to 170, MicroStrategy doesn't top off at the same time it tops off before or after, I would expect that we get a little bit of volatility and maybe we see Bitcoin at like a 1600 or a 160K price by the time MicroStrategy drops off or lower, which would imply a $1,600 price for MSTR or lower, because MSTR is going to correlate itself to a 1% value of a Bitcoin. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't make sense. Let's figure that out real quick. Let's do MSTR real quick. MSTR MicroStrategy compared to Bitcoin USD here, index, right? MSTR, there we go. Enter. We got the chart. So this is MicroStrategy versus Bitcoin, okay? Essentially it's not versus the US dollars. This has nothing to do with the dollars. You could move up here and still be losing value in the dollars. To move up here and lose value in dollars, all that means is MSTR and Bitcoin are both moving down, but Bitcoin's moving down faster. If that happened, this would grow. If Bitcoin's growing in value and MSTR is growing in value faster, this will also grow, okay? Going down doesn't mean it's losing money. Going up doesn't mean it's making money, but more or less, yes, okay? The next target area, if we're looking at this thing here, you got a nice Adam and Eve double bottom. It is a perfect Adam and Eve double bottom. It literally is perfect. Whenever you break out the measure move of this pattern, where would that take you, by the way? I'm actually curious. I don't know if I've done this yet. I would take it to here. Here's how you measure the measure move. Then you put it right there. That would take you to about 2.6%. I don't think you're going to go to 2.6%. Yeah. Oh, and you're supposed to take those kind of patterns. You're not supposed to take them in log. Let's just see what it does whenever it's out of log, and then we'll put it back into log. Okay. Out of log, it's probably not as impressive, but let's just see. High, low to high here. That measure move would take you to about 76% of 1%, right? 76%ths. Anyways, putting this back into log here. Oh, if I can, I will. My expectation would be that we don't stop at 007, right? Because why the hell would we stop there? I guess we have a little bit of a reason to stop here, and we can input that. Why would we stop at 2% or whatever that was? It's too high. I don't think that we're going to do that. I mean, if we were to go to anything more than 2% of a Bitcoin, that would imply that MicroStrategy at, if Bitcoin was at 150K, MicroStrategy would be worth $3,000. And I'm not saying that it can't be worth $3,000. I'm just saying not while Bitcoin's at 150K. That's a bit intense. Could we stop here? Could we stop here, because we do have this little kind of moment of a break right here for, let's see, from May to August to the end of July, May to July, where we did pause. Is it possible that we stop right there? Because my whole logic is, on this whole road down, you didn't really stop anywhere. So why would you stop anywhere on that road down? The next area that you'd stop at would likely be this point here. But in all fairness, maybe this place is a good place to stop too. Let's input that, and let's put this in just like this number here, where it's like right in the heart of that zone there, right kind of where I'm assuming you're finding closing resistance and stuff like that. Yeah, right in the heart of the zone. Let's input that and see what kind of market cap that gives us on MSTR. Google, why did that not work? Come on now, Google calculator. This will be one of the lower predictions. We've given 0078, so 0078. We multiply that by $160,000 Bitcoin or less, right, would be the assumption, and that gives you a price of $1,248. So we've actually just worked out a scenario where if MSTR does only move up to here and we do stop somewhere in this zone, it's a very viable option that we do stop somewhere in the 1886 to 200 between 1272 and 155, right? Because we got that number right there, so it's perfect. If we stop here versus Bitcoin, then fine. But I don't think we do. I think this next move pursues higher. I think that we see 1%, something like that. That's where we'll stop. We will stop right here where we found prior support and kind of right in that area where we found prior resistance. If it's not 1%, it'll be just under 1%. If it's not 1%, it'll be just over 1%, but essentially 1%. So if Bitcoin is at 160K, MicroStrategy is 1% of that. That's $1,600. If Bitcoin tops off at 170 to 180K and MicroStrategy tops off a week before or a week after, like it normally does, or a couple weeks before, a couple weeks after, a month before, or a month after, however long it is, if it tops off some other time, which it always does, it normally does, the expectation would be then that it's not 170K to 180K where Bitcoin's going to top off, that we should base our math off of, but lower prices instead. So that's why we use the 160K metric. Maybe 140K could be an appropriate one as well. But something between, I would think, $1,200 to $1,600. I stand by it. I think that's where we're gonna go, you guys. And we're at $410 now. The expectation by the end of the week is to be at sizably larger prices. We're probably going to be pushing $500, if not above $500. And then by the end of the month, we'll probably be at new all-time highs. I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Lower lows throughout this whole portion in the RSI, higher lows throughout the price. That's hidden bullish divergence. That's certainly not a bad thing. You know, normally this kind of a look here where you're moving up like this and you're rounding, this would make me think that you are actually about to drop. I'm not going to lie. I 90% of the time or more, I would call for that exact thing. But because you're correlated to Bitcoin and I believe Bitcoin's about to rip, I don't think you're going to drop, man. Or maybe this is a foretelling. Maybe this is telling us what's about to happen with Bitcoin. Because if this drops, man, Bitcoin's going to drop too, right? They're basically connected at the hip now. But time will tell. Or the only other situation is that Michael Saylor really is not. He really is misappropriating customer funds, and they have proof of it. And everything that I've assumed is wrong, and he's been lying to us. But I don't think so, man. I think that he's. I think he's, like I said, balls deep in the cookie jar. He is literally like living in the cookie jar. He can't get out of that Bitcoin cookie jar. He's definitely not misappropriating funds with MSTR. Or if it is, I don't know. Maybe he's buying too much Bitcoin. I don't know what it is. But anyways, that's all I got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.